So how does 3DNA help? This is kind of where we're getting to really more how we're our focus as a company and how we want to work with you. So with all those pain points that we've talked about, we supply the equipment and the materials. We don't only sell the NB printer, but again, in with Graphi's workflow, it is by far the recommended printer, and the next best printer for this literally takes twice as long per print. And I mean next best in the entire industry. Like the other companies that are coming close to being able to offer this service, as far as I've seen, their print times are around an hour or more. So it's definitely an important thing to be able to get the right equipment and materials, which we're very happy to help you with. We can help with lab design and infrastructure consulting. So we work with you on what space you have. We know how much space the equipment takes up and what order things go in order to have sort of an efficient workflow. And we'll even work with, if you need, when you're implementing Graphy, we need to have pressurized air at the location for that nitrogen generator. We need a sink and drainage and a few other things like particulate vacuums and things like that require power sources. So all these things that need to be considered when starting the lab, we can help with. Again, equipment installation and calibration support. We're there with your staff to do that, help them remotely, or we can also come in person for just the added cost of the travel and stay. And then the in-depth workflow training, right? So that's the biggest concern is how do you get your staff and your clinic fully trained to be able to do this all in your clinic without the need for outside design help. And that gives you sort of the most, as a clinician, it gives you the most options, right? You can try new things, you can immediately fix problems, as long as you keep as much as possible in-house, and you can lower your cost per tray labor-wise. So we help from design to delivery. We help with all aspects of the training, ongoing and by appointment. So anytime you need more help, we're there for you. We also give you access to Graphy resources. We're creating, it's still very new, but we're creating doctor study groups. So everybody that's working with Graphy, we're going to give you guys access to each other so you can work with each other. And again, as we said, we're looking for key opinion leaders in the US for Graphy. And we'll be putting on KOL webinars, which we will provide to our clients as part of our package. Troubleshooting and IT support, that's in our DNA. That's really that's where we're from as a company. So we're very, very confident in that aspect of being able to help. Remote and in-person equipment repair, again, hardware repair, that's deep within our DNA as well. So that's something we're very happy to help with. And finally, keeping you up to date with the latest in what can be implemented with your current equipment, as well as equipment that might add a certain type of efficiency to your clinic and make you aware of those things and help you implement those things as time goes on. The other thing is, Dr. Kenji has a presentation that we can share with people. If you're interested, at the end of this, we can send you a link to a recording of one of his presentations where he goes more into the clinical aspects of things, but he shows how they're using Graphy's TC80 material, which is their crown and bridge material, to do all kinds of in-house produced expanders and tensioners and all kinds of things that are things we could work towards moving, like adopting more and more in everyone's clinics in the future. So there's a lot of other things that we can expand into from this point on. So pricing on all this equipment, there is an a la carte option where you can buy you have to buy certain parts of this in order to be approved by Graphy, which is their cure unit, the centrifuge, and then an approved printer. And then you have to be trained. You have to buy the Graphy training in order to be allowed to purchase the resin and the unique equipment. But here's a bit around the pricing around what each things cost piecemeal. As you can see, we can do, if you're purchasing, resin in 6 bottles or more, we do it at a discount. And then there's an added discount if you're part of our service program. A beginner package with us, with our implementation support, starts at just over $28,000. It allows for essentially the closest to seamless integration you could hope for when bringing on a product like this or a new digital workflow into your clinic. If you're a clinic that has a higher throughput or you see this as the absolute future for your clinic, what's very important is, again, the ability to deliver this as promised to your clients. And the best way to sort of ensure that you're going to be able to follow through is with redundancy. So having two of each thing, not necessarily out and running all of those things, but two of everything that means that no matter what, you'll be able to produce what you need to produce. And then we have the a la carte doctor's package. So basically it's just the cost of the actual equipment plus a training course that's required for the Graphy certification. And then we also offer, like if you're not quite ready to go and purchase the equipment, we offer pay by the tray fabrication service as well as that case planning service to sort of warm you into using this workflow. And the VIP support package that we provide for our clients. So if you purchase either of our supported packages, it comes with 3 months of essentially unlimited support. So we can schedule unlimited amounts of trainings with you and your staff in those first 90 days. And then for 3 months after that, 3 months of VIP service is also included. So a total of 6 months of support is included in that initial purchase. It comes with VIP support after those first 3 months. So normal VIP support comes with up to 15 hours of remote support appointments per month. We have an ongoing chat with you so that if you have any problems, you can send us pictures and videos and ask us questions through a sort of text message service. And that is a sort of more efficient, easier way to have questions answered without having to schedule an actual appointment. We use an augmented reality app that you can download on your smartphone or your staff can, which allows us, when they're showing us what they're looking at, it allows us to press on their screen and show like what it is we're talking about and also write on the screen, or basically just have a higher value version of remote assistance. But if that's not enough, we also can do scheduled in-person assistance. And it's just a question of there's no cost for that beyond the added cost of our travel and sort of expenses for that on-site staff. You have access to our doctor study group as part of our VIP program, where we also want to start a podcast where we're interviewing people in 3D printing and dental, as well as people obviously adopting Graphy. And a priority repair service. So when you have hardware issues, we're going to get you up and running. We'll overnight parts, or we'll even stock parts with you that are sort of the higher risk parts of, if something breaks, these are the most likely things to break, therefore you should have this in stock. And we'll walk you and your staff through how to fix that, or again, send somebody over if we need to. And then we provide exclusive educational webinars that you would get free access to if you're part of this program. And again, because we're staying up to date with 3D printing changes and technological advances, we're going to continue to optimize your workflow with you. Also, I left out in the middle there that 10% discount on resin and equipment if you're part of this program. Essentially, the math comes out to at about 750 cases a year. That 10% discount on resin is going to cover the entire cost of this support package. So that about $12,000 a year is covered by a 10% discount resin if you're doing about 750 cases. And then beyond that number, you're just saving 10% on your resin and equipment. And then we give that 90-day guarantee. So if you purchase this equipment from us and with that support package, we guarantee that if you take part in the training sessions that we promote, and you allow for your staff buy-in and you really encourage your staff to also train with us, we guarantee that you have this process up and running in your clinic in 90 days or less. So that brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you guys so much for attending. And if you have any more questions, this is a great time for it. Please do scan that QR code and set up a meeting with us if you're interested in taking the next steps. And feel free to take down our contact information.